Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, community, and welcome to The Feed. It's Wednesday, November 2nd, and I'm here today with Sarah Campbell. She's going to be talking to us a little bit about the Empty Bowl, the 25th annual, which I think is amazing, the 25th annual Empty Bowl dinner. As you notice, Mike is not here. Mike is traveling the world and drinking coffee and having wonderful breakfasts in Croatia. So I'm sure when he comes back next week, he'll have a lot of things to talk to us about. For local events, the Bellows Falls Opera House this week has Ticket to Paradise. Very, very exciting because it's not a Marvel movie or a DC comic movie. It's an actual, probably like a rom-com with Julia Roberts and George Clooney. So that should be exciting. That's running November 4th through the 8th. It's just a one-week run, so make sure you get there. Classic movie tonight is Dirty Dancing. We were trying to figure out when. Do you remember when that came out?
You know what? I think I was in college.
Was it in the 90s or was it late 80s?
Oh, 80s, I think.
I was just trying to think when it was. It's been quite a while, and that's sponsored by Tom Call. So I'm sure that will have a heavily populated female attendance this evening.
Very, very, very great to have George Clooney on the screen.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. George Clooney on this. This week you could see George Clooney and you could see Patrick Swayze. It'd be like,
yes. What's better?
What I know.
And then the triple up.
Triple up, yes. Actually, one thing is better. Comedy Divas.
Oh.
Comedy Divas coming to the Opera House Thursday, November 10th. That's next Thursday. And from what I hear, tickets are going pretty fast. There's still tickets available, but tickets are going fast. Great comedy troupe, the only female comedy troupe in the country, and I think it'll be a fun evening, and it is a benefit to the Chamber of Commerce. David Stern and Wild Goose Players are back at it. They are producing a little night music. The actual play is taking place at Next Stage Arts, which is down in Putney. That's going to be November 11th, 12th, 13th, 19th, and 20th. You can get tickets by going to wildgooseplayers.com. And David was here a few weeks ago talking about it. It's going to be a great production. And then David's doing double duty because he's also working on the Holly Jolly Bellows Follies, which is happening December 1st at the Opera House. It's a combined benefit event to benefit both the Wild Goose Players and the Rotary Club. We're going to have live auction items. We're going to have silent auction items. Not so many that it's going to take away from the show. And the Rotary will be doing a little skit. Somewhat reluctantly from some folks, but others are very enthusiastic about it. So between all of us, I won't give any more away than that. And one last minute addition that I didn't have a chance to get the flyer to the studio about, but because I just barely saw it on Facebook. But this, there's a First Friday supper at the Baptist Church. It's a fundraiser to benefit. You knew what it was benefiting.
The Fuel Assistance Program.
And it is a Thanksgiving meal with all the trimmings. So that's this Friday.
And the requested donation is $8, which makes it affordable for a family.
Yeah, that's why I was just looking to see what the dollar amount was. And it's eat-in or to go. There's gluten-free and vegetarian options available. So, get out and support this First Friday dinner and support the community. So, speaking of supporting the community.
Well, it's such a lot of happy events that are coming up. Isn't it nice?
There is. There's a lot of, I say this a lot on the feed. We do a lot in this community.
Well, amazing to have the divas at the Opera House. The things that we have access to in this area is astounding. And the amount of community support that everyone has is really great. And I'm going to say, this is the Empty Bowl, our place drop-in center and food banks 25th anniversary of the Empty Bowl dinner.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And now, we've missed 2 years of this.
So how did that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. How did that impact your operations? Not because is this I know you have a lot of fundraisers, but is this your major fundraiser?
This is our major community fundraiser.
Okay.
So this is, we of course have grants and some other revenue streams. But this and Fill the Opera House are our two biggest really the community comes out and supports us in a huge way. And we have felt that lack of connection for 2 years. You know, it's great to have everybody in one big room at Allison's Orchard this Sunday, 5:00. It is the beginning. It's the beginning of daylight savings time.
Yeah, that's how I always remember.
So it's always
you drive up to Allison's Orchard in the dusk, and then when you leave, it's very dark.
It's pitch black, and it feels like midnight. But we are very committed to having everyone out by 8:00. That this is, you know, you're not going to be traveling home at midnight, and this is something that Chris Sherwin contacted me, I want to say 6 weeks ago, and said, "Hey, Sarah, did you want me to donate to the Empty Bowl?"
Right, because he always does the pumpkins.
He does the pumpkins,
Yes.
but this year, and I didn't bring it, but he's doing a beautiful red cardinal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then because he's working this year at the Hooper Golf Course, he talked to the board, and David Howard and the board there are incredibly generously donating a round of 4 with golf carts.
Oh, nice.
So, which is a $280 value.
Now, are these these are your live auction items?
That's a
correct?
live
Right.
auction item, and we always do Chris as a live auction item because there's such great community support behind him. You know, when you think about artisan community, this community, he is one of those people who always comes up. He's always generous to so many different causes, and his items are just beautiful.
And I think that the live, to me, I can't remember when I started going. It definitely wasn't in the very, very, very beginning. But it was probably, the first time I went was probably like 9 or 10 years ago, maybe. And I remember that to me was the most fun part of the dinner is the spirited. And,
Yes.
and there's been some years where it maybe hasn't been so spirited, but
Yeah.
I remember there was some definitely strong bidding wars
Well,
that happened, which was just fun to watch.
The first time I went, and I actually not sure if she's making it this year, but Kathy Ciano had made a couple pounds of fudge. She's famous for her fudge. And I want to say it went for about $180. And I was like, that is the most expensive chocolate
Yeah.
I've ever seen. But that's the kind of thing, which is, people have committed that they're going to donate, that they support the Empty Bowl, and that they support our place. And so there's a lot of fun that goes along with this. And I think what I'm looking forward to this year is seeing people, having our ticket sales are down a little bit, and you can get the tickets at the Village Bookseller. You can get them at Galloway Real Estate in Walpole. And this year, you can go on, Our Place has a website.
Oh, nice.
Yes, ourplacevt.org, and you can use your credit card, and there's a small processing fee, which we pay, but you can also choose to donate that processing fee so that Our Place doesn't take a little bit of a hit for that.
Nice.
And-
That's hugely convenient.
Yes.
And you're limiting the ticket sales this year too.
We are, because one of the things that's always been so fun about this event is that it's packed. But just given the times, given both flu and COVID, we're having a much more scattered event, but still the ability, and whatever people feel comfortable with. They can come and have a table of 10, that's their choice, or they can come. There'll be room for everyone to be very separate.
And I think that's important to make sure people know, because that could have
Yeah.
some impact on maybe why some of your regulars aren't buying tickets yet. So I think that
Yeah.
that's important to know, that they've taken measures to make sure that people are comfortable.
Yeah, and we've had a fair amount of people who are buying tickets and then saying, I want to let you know we're not coming, but we want to support the event because the event is so important and we want to be there next year.
I wanted to, that was one of the things I had on my list to make sure, because I saw it on so if you've been to the Empty Bowl before, you should have received a little invitation, and in the invitation, you can actually decide to buy tickets, like you just said, but if you can't attend. And so that's a great way to have the best of both worlds. You can't attend, but you can still support the event.
And we've had some people be very generous with that this year, of buying the 2 tickets and then adding a donation on top of it.
Nice.
What they might normally spend on auction items, whether silent or live. So I literally had someone who sent me a note that said, I want this to be here next year, please. But I don't feel comfortable. Absolutely, that's your choice. But we still urge you to support us, you know.
How did empty bowl dinners come about? Do you know that history?
I know a little of it. I have to say, Louise Luring knows it, chapter and verse. But I believe in the Midwest, someone thought of this as a fundraising, which was and I may have this wrong. I may be confusing.
Okay, we won't quote you for sure. We won't hold you accountable.
But that one of the first empty bowls, it truly was you were given an empty bowl, and said there are places in this world and in this country, in this community, of people who have an empty bowl for dinner.
Because I think that's a powerful visual. Because we were chatting prior to coming on today, and you said that some folks feel that $40 is a lot of money and they're not getting a full meal.
Yes. And we're not trying to provide a full meal. We're trying to, because it's at 5:00, so everyone's going to be hungry. So, and our mission, of course, is to feed people. But what we want to make sure people know is that this is how much many of our, a bowl of soup, a small salad, a piece of bread. Now, I have to tell you, Louise Ford from Bellows Bakery is donating dessert.
Ooh,
so that
uh-oh.
is, yes. So, so that's lovely. And so many tables don't have bounty. Mm-hmm. And so what we're trying to point out is that it's an empty bowl. And we are lucky that most people have more, but that we do have some people who are not as fortunate.
It's kind of a nice reminder, and it's kind of the spirit of the whole event. The spirit of the whole event is to get that connection,
Right.
to the idea that some people have an empty bowl.
Right. And we've been very fortunate the past 2 years. The community during COVID and during lockdowns and various things. It's our community, Marty. I can't tell you how supportive they've been.
I get it.
Through
I know,
through
'cause
boxes
I see it
of,
every day.
Boxes of food coming in through the door, to checks, to what do you need? What is a need right now? Do you need soap? Do you need what are folks lacking? We're very fortunate in Vermont that the USDA program of free breakfast and lunch, which was terrific for 2 years, really they went out of their way. And Vermont has continued that for this year. I know that there's going to be a bill, I don't think it's been assigned a number yet, to continue it so that every school child up to the age of 18 gets breakfast and lunch, free lunch, and there's no reason for us not to, so because of course we know that being fed helps with everything social behavior, academic, everything in school. Not to mention that it takes a burden off the school lunch people, because that's a tremendous amount of paperwork for them to do in a tremendous amount of time. And if they can just do their job of feeding kids, it's much easier.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about food, who do you have for restaurants donating soup?
Oh my goodness. So Smoking Bowls, always a favorite. They're doing, I believe they're doing chili. Our place is actually going to try to conquer the West African peanut soup.
That's my favorite.
It is
that is the
favorite.
Best part.
It's going to be a little different, but different is good. Which we're moving on. Curtin Hatton, I believe, is doing their corn chowder, which is also
I was going to say that's usually a big crowd
favorite. Cafe Loco, I believe they're doing a vegetarian. I believe that Grafton Inn is doing a vegetarian. And I have to say, Grafton Inn is one of those our partners who I call up Angela Comstock, who runs it, and I say, hey, Angela, and she goes, oh, empty bowl. What did you need us to do? And, they've very graciously donated one night lodgings with breakfast for the auction.
Oh, nice. Again, the live auction?
Yeah, that's going to be in the live auction. And they're doing a soup and a cheese appetizer. Matt, who was a former chef at Our place is now at Grafton Inn, so he's going to do one of the cheese dips that's always been popular.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, that's fantastic. And then Cafe Loco, and again, someone who's providing a soup as well as providing a silent auction item of 2 key lime pies.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Those are
nice.
like gold.
Yes. Yeah, those are
I
good.
know. I'm very upset that we're missing it this year. I lost my train of thought, but if people haven't been before and you're thinking, oh, soup, ugh. I'm sorry, but there's oftentimes a lot of nice seasonal squash soups.
Yeah.
And like you said, the corn chowder and the West African peanut and always some chili. And there's always at least something that you can find.
It's interesting. Burdick's did a mushroom soup one year, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. And then that's the soup I chose. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, these are like restaurant quality soups, folks. It's not, it's not Campbell's from a can.
It's not me cutting up some celery and carrots and throwing it into a saucepan with some water for lunch.
Or me, which would be awful. But so it's always good quality soups.
Yeah.
And are you having, I know in the past you've had the Kernhattan kids help with service.
They are coming this year,
That's
which
always
is
fun too.
So exciting. It is, I have to tell you, that is my favorite part of the event. They are such good kids.
They're just so cute. They
And
always come dressed up,
they're-
and they're learning the table service thing.
Yes,
And it's
and they're
cute.
so polite, and they're as excited to be there as we are as excited to have them. So, and we're putting aside a couple of Lois Ford's
treats for them.
Treats for when they get back on the bus to go back to Kernhattan.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So we count on that, and just incredibly generous. We weren't sure this year whether it could happen given everything, but they've come through.
And tell us about your potters.
Well, this year we went a different route because we were hesitant to ask local artists who really had missed out on 2 years, many of them on shows.
Right.
So that was a tough call. So Louise Luring, ever insightful about things like this.
She's amazing. Just a force of nature.
Yes. I'm not sure where they're all coming from, but I saw some which are absolutely stunning. And they are, in a sense, the best. We're recycling. They are the Putney leftovers and the Andover leftover bowls
nice.
from their empty bowls.
Oh, that's
or
perfect.
artists who delivered late.
That's perfect.
Because that always happens somehow, that there's a little confusion. And so I saw this blue one that I'm like, oh.
You had your eye on it.
So gorgeous.
I know. And I know for sure that you cannot get your bowl. Louise is very adamant about that. You cannot get your bowl until everyone gets there, and then you go pick your bowl. I can't remember the procedure.
There's a procedure. And I got to tell you, Betty Haggerty is right there
Oh,
with
yeah.
that. And
Well,
and we have to mention Betty and Hugh Haggerty, who I don't know how long they volunteered, if it's the whole 25 years, but
I would guess, knowing the two of them, I bet they have
Betty
the whole
does
25 years.
the punch and the coffee, and Hugh and Betty sort of do the whole front and welcoming people, and who better, honestly, to do that than Hugh and Betty. They really, all the other things they do in this community, all the other things they do for our place, just without seeking recognition, and they are such a, and I was again like, oh, hopefully they can, do this, and they
Because all the traditional roles, everyone has
and
a
they really,
that's part of the fun of
Yeah.
seeing. You're having spirits, alcohol.
we are
That little,
Allison's,
that little pocket, loosened little wallet loosener.
Yes, we need a little of that. Allison's Orchard is having a bar, and so it's a cash bar, of course, and so that's then that right at 5 o'clock that's available. So come on in, have a drink, and then relax for the evening.
Yeah, and that's the best. It's. I think it's always fun to get there early because you can check out the bowls, figure out what bowl you might want to pick, and that's to me. I have a closet, not a closet full, but I have a cabinet full of bowls from empty bowl dinners, and they're all different. They're all unique.
Yeah,
and it's fun to use them sometimes if you're having like a I used them last year. We had my family to the house for a holiday event, and I took out all my empty bowl bowls and used them for different things. And
Oh,
it's just
how
fun.
fun.
None of them match. None
Yeah.
of them they
And
don't
then
match
someone
each
goes,
other.
"Ooh, empty bowl."
Yeah. It's fun to have that part of it,
Yeah.
the part of it, and seeing everybody and and then you have the silent auction tables in the back, so people
Right.
can look
Yeah.
at. And usually they're loaded to the gills with stuff.
I have to say, we have Rockingham Roasters, incredibly generous, 3 pounds of coffee.
Nice.
And that's a business that is so in the community. She's redone the building, which was really added to that end of the square. And she's another person who, I want to say in August, I said, Jennifer, we are going to have the empty bowl. What do you need? Do you need me to make coffee? Nope, because Betty Haggerty has that covered. I'm not. But she generously donated 3 pounds, and that's going to be one of the silent auction.
Looks like you have some jewelry here too.
Very wonderful New Hampshire artist, Margaret Lacoste, who happens to be my sister. And she does this beautiful clay jewelry. And these are, it's not going to come across terribly well on the screen, but these are sort of funky. They're bright colored,
they
sort of
are.
60s, and then this bangle bracelet.
Nice.
Which is and very generous, because honestly she sells, she has a website, margaretlacostedesigns.com, and she also sells in Venice, Florida, and she cannot keep up with her, so she very generously, with a little prodding,
with that
Family.
playing the sister card.
Yes. And another, a live item, the Campbell Christmas Tree Farm also generously donated a Christmas tree, which is always, that's one of those spirited live auction.
It is. Are
Yeah.
you doing the? Do you have an oil? Is there oil?
There is the Gift of Warmth
Gift
from
of
Coda
Warmth.
and Coda. I'm not sure the value, or I would assume it would be different this year because of the hybrid.
Because that's kind
Yeah.
of it's a dual. It's a double-edged giving gift. So
Yes.
you get the donation money, and then generally the person that purchases it then donates it to a family or someone that
yes.
they know in need.
Yeah.
So you get to give twice on that.
Yeah, it's a really nice feeling, and I know that a couple times that gift has gone to 2 different, families where both people are working. It's just a little, and in winter definitely a struggle. In this winter, even
Oh my
more, it's
gosh,
going
this
to be a
winter.
struggle. So that is a great gift.
It looks like you have a gift from VA.
Vermont Academy, and the Vermont
swag.
Academy, it's a swag bag. It has the really nice Vermont Academy tote, which is, I don't believe it's LL Bean, but just
No,
like
it looks like a
Bella
nice
Bean.
heavy canvas.
Yes, and with a beautiful pocket in the front. Comes with the Vermont Academy maple syrup, a ball cap, and a mug. So that's terrific. We've really had such nice relationship with Vermont Academy. They had the pumpkin run on Friday,
Oh, I
which
saw that
is
posted.
yeah, for Mountain Day, and the entrance fee is a non-perishable item.
Oh, nice.
So Monday they delivered close to 100 pounds of food.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so canned, great things for coming up for the winter: vegetables, beans, fruit items,
Awesome.
always necessary.
I think seeing that swag bag just reminded me of the idea that there's really, between the silent auction and the live auction, there's opportunities for people at every level of being able to give what they can give. There's options for all that, because a lot
Oh
of
my
the,
goodness,
the,
yes.
the silent auction items are very reasonably priced.
Yes,
So you can.
yeah.
The live auction items are a little bit more, but there's
Right.
something, if you're hesitant to go because you don't think that you can bid on a live auction
Oh, my
item,
goodness, no.
then please, and even just your attendance
Yeah,
is
oh,
a donation enough.
Absolutely. Just purchasing the ticket is just
And
really
believe-
lovely.
Believe it or not, we are down to about a minute.
Oh my goodness.
As I knew it would happen. So you want to just give some last minute, just reminding everybody when it is, where it is,
Yeah.
and how to get there.
So it's Walpole at Allison's Orchard, 5:00 this Sunday, the 6th of November. Tickets can be purchased at the Village Booksellers, Galloway Real Estate, or on the Our Place website, which is ourplacevt.org. and so many other things that we haven't even mentioned that are going to be at the auction. $250 Stratton gift certificate, a tote bag from King Arthur Flour, Juvet chocolate is sending over a little basket.
Nice. Thank you, Paula Burdick.
Yeah, exactly. And then just some vintage. An old friend of my mom's gave a beautiful vintage quilt that she said she doesn't have exactly where, but it came from northern Vermont, out of a house in northern Vermont, and it is just so beautiful.
Nice.
So there's a dozen cookies from Debbie's Sweet Creations, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. So make sure that even if you can't go, maybe you could just drop a donation at our place. And we are literally out of time. So thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Marty.
And filling Mike's space and getting us through yet another feed. We'll see you next week, community.